Real estate contracts practice test. Question 1. During a due diligence meeting, which principle is illustrated by a response changing the original offer and proposing different terms? Option A, offer. Option B, consideration. Option C, counteroffer. Option D, novation. The correct answer is option C, counteroffer. The response rejects the original proposal unless the offeror renews it. A later attempt to accept the first offer may fail because it was terminated. The roles of offeror and offeree reverse for the new proposal. Question 2. Which answer states the concept associated with a contractual right to match or accept terms when an owner decides to sell? Option A, voidable contract. Option B, unilateral contract. Option C, counteroffer. Option D, right of first refusal. The correct answer is option D, right of first refusal. The wording controls notice, timing, and covered transactions. The right does not usually force the owner to offer the property before deciding to market it. Once a qualifying third-party offer exists, the holder receives the opportunity defined by the agreement. Question 3. A tenant handling a small apartment building in Salisbury must identify a contract provision making stated deadlines material duties. Which choice is correct? Option A, time is of the essence. Option B, void contract. Option C, executed contract. Option D, statute of frauds. The correct answer is option A, time is of the essence. The clause should be applied to the deadlines covered by its wording. Parties can waive strict enforcement through conduct or written modification. Failure to perform on time can constitute breach without the flexibility otherwise allowed by reasonable-delay principles. Stressed about your Maryland real estate? We can take Maryland real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. During a buyer consultation for a rental home in Easton, Jonah needs to identify the rule described as substitution of a new party or obligation with consent that releases the original party. Which answer applies? Option A, assignment. Option B, novation. Option C, option contract. Option D, voidable contract. The correct answer is option B, novation. This distinguishes the arrangement from a simple assignment of rights. The former obliger is discharged rather than remaining secondarily liable. All necessary parties must agree to the replacement. Question 5. A buyer representative is reviewing a condominium unit in Annapolis. Which term describes the contract stating the buyer's and seller's obligations for transfer of identified real property? Option A, open listing. Option B, unilateral contract. Option C, purchase agreement. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option C, purchase agreement. Essential terms include the parties, property, price, and material conditions. Contingencies, closing duties, risk allocation, and default remedies should be clearly expressed. The agreement remains subject to applicable disclosure and writing requirements. Question 6. At a contract revision, a Maryland exam candidate encounters the following description: a listing in which the broker earns the agreed compensation if the property sells during the term regardless of who finds the buyer. Which concept is being tested? Option A, bilateral contract. Option B, buyer representation agreement. Option C, rescission. Option D, exclusive right to sell listing. The correct answer is option D, exclusive right to sell listing. This arrangement provides the strongest compensation protection to the listing broker. The owner's own sale normally triggers compensation unless the agreement creates a specific exception. The broker must still perform the promised marketing and representation duties. Question 7. Caleb is assisting with a duplex transaction in College Park. Which principle applies when the facts involve a non-exclusive arrangement allowing multiple brokers to seek a buyer, with compensation generally owed to the successful procuring broker? Option A, open listing. Option B, right of first refusal. Option C, time is of the essence. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option A, open listing. The owner may also retain the right to sell independently without paying a broker. Clear documentation is important because competing efforts can create compensation disputes. No single broker receives exclusive marketing authority. Question 8. Which answer most accurately identifies a definite proposal communicated with intent to be bound upon acceptance in a real estate transaction? Option A, exclusive right to sell listing. Option B, offer. Option C, purchase agreement. Option D, novation. The correct answer is option B, offer. The proposal can terminate through revocation, rejection, counter-proposal, lapse, or operation of law. The terms must be sufficiently clear for the recipient to understand the proposed bargain. An advertisement is usually an invitation to negotiate unless it is unusually specific and leaves nothing open. Are you looking for Maryland real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access Maryland Real Estate Study Guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get Maryland Real Estate Answer Key today. Question 9. A question arising during offer review concerns a written contract defining the broker's duties, scope of representation, term, and compensation for a buyer client. Which choice gives the best classification? Option A, assignment. Option B, net listing. Option C, buyer representation agreement. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option C, buyer representation agreement. It should address exclusivity, termination, and the property or market covered. The buyer and licensee must understand potential compensation from other transaction participants. The agreement establishes agency and explains how the broker will be paid. Question 10. While analyzing a vacant parcel, Samuel must apply the concept involving transfer of contractual rights from one party to another. Which answer should be selected? Option A, purchase agreement. Option B, executory contract. Option C, acceptance. Option D, assignment. The correct answer is option D, assignment. Notice helps protect the transferee and the party who must perform. The contract or law may restrict the transfer of contractual rights when personal performance is important. The original party transfers a benefit but may remain responsible for obligations unless released. Question 11. Which real estate term is defined by something of legal value exchanged to support a contract? Option A, consideration. Option B, novation. Option C, exclusive right -to sell listing. Option D, right of first refusal. The correct answer is option A, consideration. The exchange can consist of money, a promise, an act, or forbearance. Courts generally examine legal sufficiency rather than whether the bargain was economically equal. Earnest money may evidence seriousness but is not always required for contract validity. Question 12. In a transaction involving an office building, which rule controls when there is an agreement accepted through completion of the requested act rather than a return promise? Option A, offer. Option B, unilateral contract. Option C, void contract. Option D, purchase agreement. The correct answer is option B, unilateral contract. An option can create a one-sided obligation because the owner must keep the offer open while the holder may choose whether to exercise. The offeror seeks performance as the method of acceptance. The exact formation rules depend on the offer terms and applicable law. Question 13. A appraiser asks about an agreement in which all parties have completed their promised performance. Which answer provides the legally accurate concept? Option A, novation. Option B, valid contract. Option C, executed contract. Option D, executory contract. The correct answer is option C, executed contract. No material contractual duties remain outstanding after full performance. A signed purchase contract awaiting closing is usually still executory. The term describes performance status rather than the presence of signatures. Question 14. Amina encounters an agreement containing competent parties, lawful objective, offer and acceptance, consideration, and required formalities during an inspection period. Which principle should guide the analysis? Option A, purchase agreement. Option B, void contract. Option C, executed contract. Option D, valid contract. The correct answer is option D, valid contract. Some real estate agreements must also satisfy writing and signature requirements. A binding agreement requires mutual assent to definite terms and legally sufficient consideration. The parties must have capacity and the purpose cannot violate law or public policy. Question 15. Which choice best matches the description unqualified agreement to the terms of an offer communicated in the authorized manner? Option A, acceptance. Option B, valid contract. Option C, exclusive agency listing. Option D, novation. The correct answer is option A, acceptance. Timing and communication rules determine when the agreement becomes binding. Silence generally does not constitute consent unless an established legal exception applies. Changing a material term normally creates a counteroffer rather than unqualified assent. Question 16. During review of a mixed-use property in Rockville, the parties discuss a contract authorizing a manager to operate rental property on behalf of an owner. Which term applies? Option A, executed contract. Option B, property management agreement. Option C, net listing. Option D, voidable contract. The correct answer is option B, property management agreement. Trust funds must be handled separately and records maintained as required. The manager owes duties created by agency law and licensing rules. The agreement should define authority, compensation, accounting, maintenance limits, and reporting. Question 17. An exam scenario presents a listing allowing the owner to avoid brokerage compensation by personally finding the buyer. Which answer is most accurate? Option A, time is of the essence. Option B, specific performance. Option C, exclusive agency listing. Option D, rescission. The correct answer is option C, exclusive agency listing. The broker earns compensation when the broker or another broker produces the buyer. The owner retains a limited right to sell without owing the agreed fee. The exact result depends on the written agreement and procuring minus cost terms. Question 18. A licensee preparing for a contract revision must recognize an agreement formed by an exchange of promises. Which concept does this describe? Option A, net listing. Option B, assignment. Option C, open listing. Option D, bilateral contract. The correct answer is option D, bilateral contract. Most purchase agreements create reciprocal duties to convey title and pay the price. Each party becomes obligated when the promises are accepted. Performance occurs later even though the agreement is formed at acceptance.
Stressed about your FCLE? We can take FCLE for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass in payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. Which answer correctly classifies a situation involving an otherwise valid agreement that a court will not enforce because of a legal defense? Option A, unenforceable contract. Option B, right of first refusal. Option C, time is of the essence. Option D, statute of frauds. The correct answer is option A, unenforceable contract. A missing required writing or expiration of a limitations period can prevent judicial enforcement. This status differs from an agreement that was void at formation. The underlying promises may have been lawful and supported by consideration. Question 20. At a marketing review in Cambridge, Kara explains an agreement with one or more material obligations still to be performed. Which real estate principle is involved? Option A, novation. Option B, executory contract. Option C, net listing. Option D, purchase agreement. The correct answer is option B, executory contract. Contingencies and deadlines continue to govern the parties. A pending sales contract remains in this status until closing duties are completed or the agreement ends. The contract may be fully signed even though performance is incomplete. Question 21. A transaction file for a cooperative unit raises an issue involving a contractually stated amount recoverable after breach when it reasonably estimates anticipated loss. Which answer best resolves the classification? Option A, valid contract. Option B, voidable contract. Option C, liquidated damages. Option D, unenforceable contract. The correct answer is option C, liquidated damages. Courts may refuse enforcement when the amount operates as an excessive penalty. Earnest money clauses must be read carefully to determine the party's agreed remedy. The provision should compensate rather than punish the breaching party. Question 22. Which concept should a landlord apply to facts involving a contract condition allowing performance obligations to depend on a specified event? Option A, counteroffer. Option B, open listing. Option C, option contract. Option D, contingency. The correct answer is option D, contingency. Failure of the condition can permit termination if the clause is properly invoked. The party benefiting from the provision must comply with notice and deadline requirements. Financing, appraisal, inspection, and sale minus property conditions allocate transaction risk. Question 23. Daria is studying a rule concerning an agreement with no legal effect from the beginning. Which term should be chosen? Option A, void contract. Option B, valid contract. Option C, purchase agreement. Option D, property management agreement. The correct answer is option A, void contract. No party can enforce an arrangement that lacks a fundamental legal requirement or has an illegal purpose. Later approval ordinarily cannot cure an agreement that was never legally valid. This differs from a contract that is valid unless a protected party chooses to avoid it. Question 24. When a townhouse transaction involves an agreement giving a holder the right, but not the obligation, to buy or lease under stated terms within a fixed period, which answer identifies the controlling concept? Option A, open listing. Option B, option contract. Option C, exclusive agency listing. Option D, statute of frauds. The correct answer is option B, option contract. Separate consideration commonly supports the promise not to revoke. The owner must keep the opportunity open during the option term. Exercise must strictly comply with the method and deadline stated in the agreement. Question 25. A practice question describes a court remedy ordering a party to carry out contractual duties. Which response is best? Option A, net listing. Option B, option contract. Option C, specific performance. Option D, exclusive agency listing. The correct answer is option C, specific performance. The remedy is available when money damages are inadequate and the agreement is sufficiently definite. Equitable defenses and the claimant's own performance affect availability. Real estate is considered unique, which can support this relief in a purchase dispute.